The divorce papers hit the marble floor with a sound that silenced half the ballroom. Sophia's hands trembled as she watched her husband, ex-husband, picked him up, his face empty of everything except tired acceptance. Around them, Manhattan's wealthiest watched with champagne glasses frozen halfway to their lips. "Sign them," she demanded, her voice carrying across the Met's Grand Hall. "I'm done pretending we have a future." Elias pulled a pen from his jacket. No hesitation. No argument. Just his signature, clean and final across the bottom line. Behind Sophia, Victor squeezed her shoulder, his smile smug with victory. "Finally," he whispered, "now we can start our real life together." The microphone crackled to life across the room. "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer's voice boomed, "please welcome this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Chairman and CEO of Harper & Co. Properties, the man who built a $46 billion empire from the ground up, Elias J. Harper." Sophia's brain stopped working. The room erupted in applause as Elias walked toward the stage, leaving her standing there with divorce papers in one hand and her whole world crumbling in the other. Before we dive into this crazy story, if you love jaw-dropping twists and emotional roller coasters, smash that like button right now. Trust me, you'll want to share this one. And drop a comment telling me, would you have done what Sophia did? Now let's get into it. But how did we get here? How does a woman divorce a man she thinks is broke, only to discover he owns a company she's been desperately trying to join? The answer started 24 hours earlier in a Brooklyn brownstone where love was quietly dying in the dark. The suitcase sat open on the bed like a mouth, waiting to swallow the last 7 years whole. Sophia folded a black dress, the one Elias bought her on their 3rd anniversary, when they still believed struggling together meant something beautiful. Her fingers lingered on the fabric. Then she shoved it in hard and reached for another. Through the bedroom door, she could hear him breathing in their office-turned-second bedroom. Deep, even, peaceful, like a man with nothing to worry about. God, how she'd grown to hate that sound. The clock read 2:47 a.m. In 7 hours, she'd hand him divorce papers in a coffee shop downtown. Neutral territory. Quick and clean. Then she'd drive straight to Victor's penthouse in Manhattan and never look back at this cramped apartment that smelled like broken dreams. Apartment. She almost laughed. They lived in a Brooklyn brownstone, 3 stories of pre-war bones and gorgeous molding that Elias insisted they could afford. But the heat barely worked. The roof leaked, and every month, she watched their bank account bleed out while he promised that consulting work would pick up. Consulting. What a joke. 7 years ago, Sophia had loved a starving artist who painted murals on warehouse walls and talked about changing the world through beauty. He'd been electric, passionate, alive. Now he was a man who spent 16 hours a day in a windowless office doing work he never explained, taking calls he wouldn't discuss, attending meetings that apparently paid nothing. She'd become a mid-level curator at the Hartley Gallery. Not her dream job, but it paid the bills. Meanwhile, Elias drifted through life like a ghost wearing expensive shoes he claimed were gifts. From who? She'd asked once. Old friends, he'd said, and that was that. Sophia zipped the suitcase closed. Her phone buzzed. Victor, can't sleep, thinking about tomorrow, about us. You're making the right choice. Sophia, I promise you a life where you never have to worry again. She smiled. Type back. I know. See you soon. Victor Chen was everything Elias wasn't. Confident, successful, present. He'd swept into her life 6 months ago at a gallery opening. Charming, attentive, interested in her opinions about art and business and the future. He was an executive at Harper & Co. Properties, one of the biggest real estate firms in the country. He wore power like cologne. And when he kissed her for the first time 3 months ago in his corner office overlooking Central Park, she'd felt something she'd forgotten existed. Desire, safety, hope. She'd tried to fight it. Really, she had. But Elias had stopped fighting for their marriage years ago. He just faded, became a man made of silence and secrets. So she'd let herself fall. And tomorrow, no, today, she'd finally be free. Morning came cold and gray. Sophia dressed carefully, professional but feminine. The navy suit Victor liked. Hair pulled back. Minimal makeup. She looked like a woman who'd made a decision and wouldn't be swayed. Elias was already gone when she emerged from the bedroom. No note, no goodbye. Just an empty coffee cup in the sink and the faint smell of his soap lingering in the bathroom. Typical. She grabbed her coat and the envelope containing the divorce papers. Her hands didn't shake. She cried all her tears months ago. Now there was just nothing. A clean, empty space where love used to live. Her phone buzzed again. Victor. Don't forget, drop your resume at H&C today. Director of branding position. It's perfect for you. I put in a good word. Right. The job application. Victor had been encouraging her for weeks to apply to Harper & Cole. They needed someone with her eye for aesthetics and brand storytelling. The pay was triple what she made now. And working in the same building as Victor? It felt like the universe finally aligning. One last errand before the divorce, she thought. Poetic, almost. Harper & Cole headquarters rose like a glass cathedral in the heart of Manhattan's financial district. Sophia had passed 100 times but never really seen it. Now, walking through the revolving doors into a lobby that smelled like money and ambition, she felt small, out of place. The security guard smiled. Can I help you? I'm here to drop off a resume. For the director of branding position, 10th floor, HR reception. She thanked him and headed for the elevators, her heels clicking against marble so polished she could see her reflection. Around her, people in $1,000 suits moved with purpose. This was a different world. Victor's world. Soon it will be mine too. The elevator doors open on 10. The HR receptionist, a young woman with kind eyes and a nameplate reading Jessica, took her envelope with a warm smile. We'll add this to the pool. Decision should go out next week. Thank you. Sophia turned to leave, then paused. Can I ask, who makes the final call on hiring? Jessica glanced at her computer. For this position, it goes through our executive committee, but the chairman has final approval on all director-level appointments. The chairman? Mr. Harper. Though between you and me, Jessica leaned in conspiratorially. He barely ever vetoes the committee's choices. Super hands-off with HR stuff. We barely see him. Harper, Sophia repeated slowly. Is that a common name here? Jessica laughed. Well, it's on the building. Harper & Cole? Founded by the Harper family back in the 70s. Mr. Harper's the third generation, but he keeps a really low profile. Most employees have never even met him. Some people call him the ghost CEO. Sophia's stomach did something strange. What's his first name? Elias. Elias J. Harper. The floor tilted. Sorry, what? You okay? Jessica stood concerned. You look pale. I'm fine. Sophia grabbed the edge of the desk. Elias Harper. You're sure? Positive. It's literally on every building directory. Jessica pointed to a plaque on the wall behind her desk. Harper & Cole Properties. Founded in 1974. Chairman Enso, Elias J. Harper. The words blurred. Sophia's brain tried to make them make sense. Tried to find a logical explanation. Different Elias. Has to be. Common name. Coincidence. Miss, do you need water? No, I have to go. She stumbled toward the elevator, heart hammering. Her phone was already out, fingers flying across the screen. Elias Harper, CEO, Harper & Cole. The search results loaded. And there he was. Her husband, ex-husband, almost ex-husband. The photo was old, maybe 10 years, but unmistakably him. Younger, serious, standing in front of a half-built skyscraper with his parents, both smiling proudly. The caption read, Elias Harper, 25, assumes control of Harper & Cole Properties following the tragic death of his parents, Margaret and Jonathan Harper, in a plane crash. The company's youngest CEO vows to honor their legacy. Sophia's vision tunneled. 25. They'd met when he was 28. He'd already been running a billion-dollar empire for 3 years. And he'd never said a word. She scrolled frantically. More photos. Articles about expansion deals. A profile in Forbes calling him Manhattan's most mysterious mogul. A quote, "I believe privacy is the last luxury money can't always buy. My work speaks for itself." Her hand shook so hard she nearly dropped the phone. He's been lying. For 7 years. Every single day. The elevator dinged. She got in without seeing. Pressed the lobby button. Leaned against the wall as the car descended, and her entire life rewrote itself in her head. The brownstone was a stretch they could barely afford. He owned it. Probably owned the whole block. The consulting work wasn't failure. It was him running a $46 billion company. The silence. The distance. The secrets. All of it was a lie. She made it to the street before the tears came. People flowed around her like water around a stone. She stood there, sobbing into her hands while Manhattan moved on without her. Her phone rang. "Victor, hey, beautiful, did you drop it off?" Her voice cracked. "Victor, I need to ask you something. Anything. Your boss, the CO, Elias Harper." A pause. "What about him? What's he like?" Victor laughed. "Honestly, no idea. I've worked here 6 years and met him twice. He doesn't do company events, doesn't socialize, just sends directives through his assistant and approves deals from his office. Why? Just curious." She wiped her face. "You said you'd put in a good word for me?" "With the hiring committee. Yeah. Harper won't even see your resume unless you make it to the final round. And even then, he just rubber stamps whatever they decide. Don't worry about him. Don't worry about him." The man she'd shared a bed with for 7 years. The man whose last name she'd taken. The man she was about to divorce in. She checked her watch. 45 minutes. "Sophia, you still there?" "Yeah, I'll call you later." She hung up before it could respond. The coffee shop was 3 blocks away. Elias would be waiting. Her mind raced through scenarios, confrontations, accusations. But underneath the anger, underneath the betrayal, one question burned brighter than the rest. Why? Why hide it? Why live like they were struggling when he could have given her anything? Why let her work herself to exhaustion while he pretended to be broke? Why marry me at all? He was already there when she arrived. Sitting in the back corner, away from windows, black coffee, no phone, just him, staring at nothing with that faraway look she'd learned to hate. He glanced up when she approached. Something flickered in his eyes, resignation, maybe, or relief. "You're here," he said quietly. "I'm here." She sat, put the envelope on the table between them. It felt heavier now, loaded with 7 years of questions she'd never thought to ask. "Elias, I know why you wanted to meet." He pushed the envelope back toward her, without opening it. "And I'll sign, whatever you need. I won't fight you." The words hit wrong. She'd expected, what? Tears? Begging? Instead, he just looked tired. "You won't even read them?" she asked. "I don't need to." He met her eyes. "You've been unhappy for a long time, Sophia. I'm not blind." "No, just a liar." His jaw tightened. "What?" "Harper and Cole Properties. $46 billion. Ring any bells?" The silence stretched like taffy. Then, that's all you have to say? How did you? "I applied for a job there." Her voice carried across the cafe. People turned. She didn't care. "At the company you apparently own. The company your family built. The company you've been secretly running while I worked 60-hour weeks, thinking we were one emergency away from eviction." Elias said nothing. Just sat there, absorbing her fury like a man who'd been expecting it. "Say something," she hissed. "What do you want me to say?" "I want you to tell me why." Tears burned hot down her cheeks. "Why would you lie to me for 7 years? Why would you let me struggle? Let me worry? Let me think you were just some failed artist who couldn't get his life together?" Because his voice cracked. He stopped, started again. "Because I needed to know you chose me. Not the money, not the name. Me. That's insane. Maybe." He looked down at his hands. My mother spent her whole life surrounded by people who wanted to harp her fortune. Friends who weren't friends. Family who only called when they needed something. Men who proposed marriage before they even knew her favorite color. I'm not your mother. I know, but when we met, he finally looked at her, really looked. You were the first person in my life who saw me as just a guy, a broke artist with paint under his fingernails and big dreams. You love that version of me, the one with nothing. So, you decided to keep pretending forever? Let me think we were poor? She stopped, remembering. God, the times I yelled at you for not making enough money, for not providing, how you just sit there and take it. I deserved it. No, you didn't. You deserved honesty. She pushed the envelope harder across the table. Sign them. His hand moved to his jacket, pulled out a pen, expensive, she noticed now, probably cost more than her monthly salary. He opened the envelope, scanned the papers, found the signature line. Then he signed. Clean. Final. No hesitation. I'm sorry, he said, sliding them back. For all of it, you deserve better. Sophia grabbed the papers. Stood. Her legs felt like water. There's a gala tonight, Elias added quietly. I have to be there. Work thing. After that, I'll move out of the brownstone. You can keep it if you want. It's yours. I don't want your charity. It's not charity. He smiled sadly. It's me finally being honest. About everything. She turned to leave. Sophia? She paused but didn't look back. I did love you. The real me. The ghost you married. I loved you so much I was terrified to show you anything else. That's not love, Elias. That's cowardice. She walked out into the gray morning and didn't look back. The private investigator's photos were still on the desk. Elias sat in his home office. The room Sophia thought was just another cramped workspace, and stared at them for the 100th time. Victor's hand on her lower back. Victor kissing her in his office. Victor and Sophia laughing in a restaurant Elias had never taken her to because he'd been too afraid she'd ask how he could afford it. The photos were 3 months old. He'd known for 3 months. And he'd done nothing. The city sprawled below his window, 1,000 lights pretending to be stars. From up here, Manhattan looked peaceful, organized, nothing like the mess inside his chest. His phone buzzed. Mara, Chun, his assistant, and the only person who knew everything. Mara, she found out. Elias, yes. Mara and Elias. And she left. It's done. Mara, you signed the papers? Just like that? Elias, you can't just... Elias, I can. I did. Leave it alone. He silenced his phone and picked up one of the photos. Sophia's face caught mid-laugh. She looked happy. Actually happy. When was the last time he'd made her laugh like that? 5 years ago. His memory supplied helpfully. Before you let the silence swallow everything. He'd told Sophia he hid the truth because of his mother. That was real. Margaret Harper had been beautiful, brilliant, and broken by people who loved her bank account more than her soul. She'd warned him before the plane crash. Money changes people. Sweetheart. It shows you who they really are. So when he met Sophia at that warehouse art show, when she'd argued with him for 20 minutes about whether Banksy was genius or gimmick, when she'd kissed him against a graffiti wall, without knowing anything except his first name, he thought, this is real. And he'd kept it real by keeping it secret. But somewhere along the way, real had turned into hiding. Connection had turned into distance. Love had turned into loneliness for both of them. And he'd let it happen because he was afraid. Coward, she called him. She was right. A knock on his office door. He didn't need to guess who. It's open. Mara Chun entered without ceremony. She was 52, sharp as broken glass, and had been his parents' assistant before becoming his. She'd known him since he was 12, which meant she didn't take his garbage. You look terrible, she announced. Good evening to you too. Don't. She sat across from him, crossed her arms. You're really going through with this? Just letting her go without fighting. She wants to go, Mara. Because you never gave her a reason to stay. Mara's voice rose. For 7 years, you played this ridiculous game. You think you were protecting yourself? You were suffocating her. And yourself. I know. Do you? She leaned forward. Your mother's fear became your prison, Elias. Yes, she was hurt by users and liars. But Sophia isn't them. She fell in love with a broke artist. She stayed through years of what she thought was struggle. That's not a gold digger. That's a woman who loved you. Loved. Past tense. Because you gave her silence instead of trust. Mara's eyes flashed. I begged you to tell her. 5 years ago. 3 years ago. Last month. But you were so convinced that the truth would ruin everything that you let lies ruin it instead. Elias said nothing. What could he say? She was right. The gala is tomorrow. Mara continued, softer now. Your first public appearance as CEO in 11 years. Lifetime Achievement Award. The board finally convinced you to step into the light. And your wife, ex-wife, is going to be there with Victor Chun, who she thinks is some big shot executive, not knowing he's just your EVP who's been climbing the ladder on borrowed confidence. Elias's head snapped up. What do you mean she'll be there? Mara pulled out her phone, showed him an email. Victor put her on his +1. He's been bragging about it to half the office. Says he's going to propose after the gala. The room tilted. Propose. Apparently. Mara studied his face. You didn't know she was seeing Victor specifically? I knew she was seeing someone. I didn't. He stood, walked to the window, pressed his forehead against the cold glass. God. Of course it's Victor. He's ambitious, charming, everything you pretend not to be. I'm not pretending. You're absolutely pretending. You think being invisible makes you real? It just makes you upset. She stood, joined him at the window. Elias, tomorrow night, everyone will know who you are. Sophia will know. Victor will know. The truth is coming whether you're ready or not. So you need to decide, are you going to keep hiding? Or are you finally going to show up? I signed the papers, Mara. It's over. Papers can be signed. She squeezed his shoulder. Think about it. She left him alone with the city and his thoughts. Elias pulled out his wallet. Inside, tucked behind expired credit cards he'd never needed to use, was a photo booth strip from their first date. For pictures, Sophia making silly faces, him laughing, both of them kissing. Young, happy, whole. He closed his eyes. Tomorrow, he thought, tomorrow everything changes. And I have no idea if that's salvation or ending. Victor Chin stood in front of his bathroom mirror and adjusted his bow tie for the 3rd time. Perfect. Everything had to be perfect. The ring box sat on his dresser, black velvet, 3 carats. Not the biggest he could afford, but tasteful. Sophia would love it. She had to. Tonight was his night. Their night. Finally. He'd been patient. So patient. 6 months of careful courtship, of making her feel seen and valued, of offering her everything her deadbeat husband couldn't. Stability, success, a future that didn't involve scraping by in a falling apart brownstone. And tomorrow, she'd be free. Divorced. Ready to start over. With him. His phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, his colleague on the executive team. Marcus. You ready for tonight? Big night for the ghost. Think he'll actually show his face? Victor. He'd better. Gala's in his honor. Marcus. Still can't believe we're finally meeting him properly. 6 years and I've seen him twice. Dudes like Bigfoot. Victor smiled. He'd seen Elias Harper exactly 3 times in 6 years. Once at his hiring. Once in an elevator. Once in a brief hallway pass where Harper had nodded and kept walking. The man was a ghost. A name on memos. A signature on approvals. And that had worked perfectly for Victor's narrative. He let Sophia believe he was more important than he was. Not explicitly lied, just failed to correct assumptions. When she'd asked if he ran things, he'd said he had significant decision-making authority. True enough, EVP was nothing to sneeze at, but it wasn't CEO. A small voice in his head whispered, she's gonna find out eventually. He pushed it away. By then, they'd be married. In love. It wouldn't matter. Besides, what did Harper care? The man barely knew his own employees. Probably wouldn't even notice Sophia at the gala. Victor's phone rang. Sophia. Hey, beautiful. Hi. She sounded off. Victor, I need to ask you something. His stomach tightened. Okay. Have you ever actually spoken to Elias Harper? Like, really spoken to him? Not really. Why? What does he look like? Victor frowned. I don't know. Average? Dark hair? Keeps to himself? Why are you asking about my boss? A long pause. No reason. Just curious about the company culture. Listen, I'll see you tonight, okay? Can't wait. I have a surprise for you. Victor, trust me, it's a good one. I'll pick you up at 6. He hung up before she could protest, but his hand was shaking slightly. Something in her voice had been wrong. Strained. She's just nervous about the divorce, he told himself. Once tonight is over, everything will be fine. He picked up the ring box, opened it. The diamond caught the light, throwing tiny rainbows across his ceiling. Perfect, he whispered. Everything's perfect. But deep down, in a place he didn't want to examine, he wondered if he'd built this entire relationship on sand. The Metropolitan Museum of Art transformed after dark. What was already beautiful in daylight became magic under string lights and chandeliers. Manhattan's elite glittered through marble halls in tuxedos and gowns that cost more than cars. Waiters floated past with champagne. A string quartet played near the Temple of Dender, the ancient Egyptian structure reflecting in the water behind it. Sophia stood at the edge of it all and felt like a fraud. The dress Victor had bought her was beautiful, midnight blue silk, fitted perfectly. But she couldn't stop thinking about the price tag she'd accidentally seen. $8,000. More than she made in a month. Victor's hand rested on her lower back, possessive and proud. He'd been introducing her to people all night. This is Sophia. She's incredibly talented. Gallery curator. But she'll be joining Harper and Cole soon. Right, sweetheart? She'd smile, nod, shake hands with people whose jewelry could fund a small country. And the whole time, her eyes searched the crowd for one face. Elias. He had to be here. This was his gala, his company, his everything. But she hadn't seen him yet. You okay? Victor whispered. You seem distracted. I'm fine. Just taking it all in. Wait until you see the main event. Harper's supposed to accept his award at 9. That's when things get really interesting. Victor grinned. Apparently, no one's seen him at a company event in over a decade. There are executives here who've worked at HNC for years and never met him. Can you imagine? Yes, Sophia thought. I can imagine exactly that. Her clutch felt heavy. The signed divorce papers were inside. She brought them without really knowing why. Some part of her wanted proof, wanted to be able to look at his signature and remember this was real, that she hadn't imagined the last 7 years. There's Charlotte Wu, Victor said, steering her toward a woman in red. She's on the board. I want to introduce you. But Sophia had stopped listening, because across the room, through a gap in the crowd, she saw him, Elias. He stood alone near one of the arches, hands in his pockets, watching the party like an outsider at his own event. He wore a tuxedo like he'd been born in it. Perfectly tailored, understated, elegant. His hair was slightly longer than she remembered from this morning. And he looked different. Not broken. Not tired. Just himself. People gravitated toward him without realizing it. A board member stopped to shake his hand. He smiled polite, distant. A waiter offered champagne. He declined with a small gesture. This was the Go CEO, the mysterious billionaire, her husband, ex-husband. Their eyes met across the room. For a moment, the gala disappeared. The music, the people, everything, just them, separated by marble and money and 7 years of beautiful lies. Then someone blocked her view and the moment shattered. Sophia? Victor's voice pulled her back. You're staring. What's? He followed her gaze. His face changed. Is that? I need air. She walked away before he could stop her, weaving through the crowd toward the museum's side exit. Her heels clicked too loud. Her breathing came too fast. She made it to a semi-private alcove near the silent auction tables before the tears came. Stupid. You're being stupid. You divorced him. You wanted this. But wanting it and watching it happen were different things. Sophia. She spun. Elias stood 5 feet away, hands still in his pockets, looking at her like she was made of glass. Don't. She managed. Don't do that. Don't look at me like you care. I do care. You signed the papers. Because you asked me to. He took a careful step closer. What did you want me to do? Fight? Beg? I've spent 7 years lying to you. Sophia, I thought the least I could do was respect this one truth, that you want out. This isn't fair. Her voice broke. You don't get to be reasonable. You don't get to be noble. You lied to me. I know. For 7 years. I know. Then why? She was shouting now. People were starting to look. She didn't care. If you loved me so much, why hide? Why let me think we were poor? Why let me worry and struggle and work myself to death while you... She gestured at the gala, at him, at everything, while you played dress up as a broke artist. Because I'm broken, Elias said simply. The honesty stopped her cold. My mother died thinking everyone she loved wanted her money. My father died trying to protect her from people who proved her right. And his voice cracked, I inherited billions in a company in the same paranoia that killed them both. I'm not a gold digger. I know that now. Maybe I always knew. But fear doesn't care about logic, Sophia. Fear just wins. He pulled something from his pocket, an old photo booth strip. Their first date. You loved me when I had nothing. That was real. I knew if I told you the truth, everything would change. You'd look at me differently, treat me differently, and I was too selfish to risk it. So you just, played pretend forever? I was planning to tell you. He laughed bitterly. So many times. Our 5th anniversary, when you got the gallery job, last Christmas. But every time I opened my mouth, I'd see my mother's face, hear her warnings, and I'd chicken out. Sophia wiped her eyes. That's not love, Elias. That's prison. I know. Mara told me the same thing. He put the photos away. I built a cage out of fear and locked both of us inside. And by the time I realized what I'd done, you'd already found someone who made you smile again. Victor. Yes. She looked at the floor. He makes me feel safe. Like I don't have to fix everything alone. Good. That's... Elias's jaw worked. That's good. You deserve that. Stop it. Fresh tears came. Stop being understanding. I'm supposed to be angry at you. You should be. I'd be angry at me too. Footsteps approached. Victor appeared, his face a mix of confusion and dawning comprehension. What's going on? He looked between them. Sophia? She opened her mouth. No words came. Elias extended his hand. Victor, good to see you. Victor stared at the hand, like it might bite him. Then, slowly recognition bloomed. You're... Elias Harper. You're so... Elias's smile was tired. And Sophia's husband. Ex-husband, as of this morning. What? Victor's voice pitched high. You're... Sophia, what the hell is? I didn't know, she whispered. Victor, I swear, I didn't know until today. You're married to Elias Harper. Victor looked sick. Arcel, the billionaire. And you thought, how did you think? He lied. She turned on Elias. You lied. For 7 years. What was I supposed to think? I never lied, Elias said quietly. I just never told the truth. There's a difference. That's the same thing. Is it? His eyes held hers. You never asked me what I did for work. Not once. You assumed, and I let you assume. That's not lying. That's cowardice. But it's not lying. Victor's face had gone from sick to calculating. You two are divorced? Like officially? Papers are signed. Elias confirmed. Then this is... Victor straightened his bow tie. This is unfortunate timing, but it doesn't change. A microphone squealed feedback across the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, The announcer's voice boomed. "If you could please make your way to the main hall. We're about to begin the awards ceremony." Elias checked his watch. "That's me." He looked at Sophia one last time. "For what it's worth, I'm sorry. For all of it, you deserve better." Then he walked away, disappearing into the crowd, moving toward the ceremony. Victor grabbed Sophia's arm. "We need to talk." "Not now." "Yes, now. Do you have any idea what this looks like? I've been dating my CEO's wife." "Ex-wife. That's not better." Victor ran his hands through his hair. "Jesus, this will destroy my career. We need to. You need to what, Victor?" Something cold settled in Sophia's chest. "Manage the optics? Figure out your next move? That's not fair." "Fair?" She laughed. "You want to talk about fair? While my whole life is burning down, you're worried about your career." "Our future," he corrected. "I'm worried about our future. Once people know you were married to Harper, they'll think, what? That I'm a gold digger? That I left a billionaire for you?" His silence was answer enough. "Oh my God." She stepped back. "You do think that." "I don't. That's not." Victor reached for her. "Sophia, please. I love you, but this is complicated. We need to be smart about how we handle this." "Handle? Right." She pulled the divorce papers from her clutch, held them up. "These are signed, legal, binding. I'm not married to Elias Harper anymore. So what exactly are you worried about?" "I'm worried that you're going to wake up tomorrow and realize you divorced a billionaire for a guy who makes $600,000 a year and wonder what the hell you were thinking." The words hung between them like poison. Sophia's hand stopped shaking. In fact, everything stopped shaking. Clarity hit her like cold water. "That's what you've been afraid of this whole time," she said softly. "Not that I'd leave you. That I'd figure out you're not as important as you pretended to be. I never pretended. You let me think you ran things at Harper & Co. You let me believe you were the one with power. Just like Elias let me believe he was broke." She smiled, but it hurt. "Turns out I'm really good at falling for liars. That's not fair." "Ladies and gentlemen," the announcer called, "please welcome to the stage this year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner." Sophia turned toward the main hall. Victor followed, still arguing, but she wasn't listening anymore, because everything was about to change. The crowd gathered in front of a small stage set up near the Temple of Dender. Hundreds of people, all waiting to see the ghost finally appear. The man who transformed Harper & Cole Properties into a global empire. Sophia pushed the front. She needed to see, needed to watch. Who built a $46 billion legacy while maintaining the kind of privacy that's almost unheard of in modern business. Victor stood behind her, tense and silent. "Please welcome Chairman and CEO Elias J. Harper." The applause was thunderous. Elias walked onto stage. No fanfare, no dramatic entrance. Just a man accepting an award he probably didn't want. He stood at the microphone, waited for the noise to die down. Then he spoke. "Thank you all for coming tonight." His voice was steady, clear, nothing like the quiet, uncertain man from their apartment. "I'm honored to receive this award, though I'm not sure I deserve it. This company was built by my parents and grandparents. I'm just a caretaker." Polite laughter. "I've spent most of my adult life trying to be invisible. My mother taught me that privacy was important, that keeping parts of yourself separate from your work was the only way to stay sane in this business." He paused. His eyes found Sophia in the crowd. "But I've learned recently that there's a difference between privacy and hiding, between protecting yourself and imprisoning yourself." He took a breath. "I've also learned that the people we love deserve our truth, even when it's scary, especially when it's scary." The crowd murmured. This was not a typical acceptance speech. "I've made mistakes," Elias continued. "I've let fear guide my choices. I've hurt people I care about because I was too cowardly to show them who I really am." His gaze never left Sophia's. "And I'm deeply sorry for that." Victor shifted beside her. "Is he talking about?" "Sure. This company bears my family's name, but it's built on the work of thousands of people who believed in what we're trying to do. Create spaces where people build lives, homes, futures. Elias smiled sadly. I've been so focused on building those things for strangers that I forgot to build them in my own life. He lifted the award, a crystal obelisk that caught the light. So I accept this with gratitude and with the knowledge that legacy isn't just what you build. It's who you become while building it. And I've got work to do on that front. The applause was confused but genuine. Elias stepped off a stage. Immediately, people swarmed him. Board members, executives, press. But his eyes stayed on Sophia as he navigated through the crowd toward her. People recognized her now. She could feel it. The whispers, the stares. Someone had put it together. That's his wife. Ex-wife. The one he hid his fortune from. Elias reached her. Victor stepped between them instinctively. Harper. Sir, I just want to say, I had no idea. Victor. Elias's voice was gentle. Congratulations on your relationship with Sophia. You've done excellent work as EVP. I hope you'll continue to grow with the company. It was a perfect response. Gracious. Professional. It made Victor look small. I thank you, sir. Elias looked past him to Sophia. Can we talk? Just for a minute? I don't think that's... Victor started. Yes, Sophia said. She followed Elias back to the alcove, away from the crowd, away from the whispers. They stood in silence for a moment. Then Sophia pulled the divorce papers from her clutch and held them out. These are signed, she said. Legal. Done. I know. So, why am I still here? Why did I follow you? I don't know. Elias looked at the papers. Why did you? Because... She struggled for words. Because that speech, that apology, that's what I needed 7 years ago. And you gave it to a room full of strangers instead. You're right. Stop agreeing with me. Tears came again. Fight. Argue. Tell me I'm wrong to leave you. But you're not wrong. He said it so simply. I failed you, Sophia. Every day for 7 years, I chose fear over trust. I can't argue with that. She crumpled the papers in her fist. I hate you. I know. I hate that you're being reasonable. I hate that you're not making this easy. I hate that after everything, She stopped. Still what? Nothing. But they both knew it wasn't nothing. Victor's waiting for me, she whispered. I know. He wants to propose tonight. Elias's face flickered. Will you say yes? I don't know. Then don't. He stepped closer, not touching, just close. Sophia, I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking you to come back. But please don't say yes to him until you're sure. Not out of anger at me. Not out of wanting to prove something. Say yes because he's what you want. What if I don't know what I want anymore? Then take time to figure out. He pulled out a business card, pressed it into her hand. This is my assistant, Mara. If you need anything, job, reference, legal help, just someone to talk to, call her. No strings. No expectations. Sophia stared at the card. Why are you being nice to me? Because I love you. He said it simply, like it was obvious. I've loved you since the warehouse. And I'll love you when you're married to Victor. And I'll love you when you're happy somewhere I'll never see. That doesn't turn off just because I destroyed us. She couldn't speak, could barely breathe. I'm selling the brownstone, Elias continued. Half the money is going to a women's shelter in your mother's name. The other half is yours. Mara will handle the transfer. Elias, it's not a bribe. It's not me trying to buy you back. It's just... He smiled. It's me finally being honest about everything, including how much you gave up to build a life with someone you thought was broke. You earned that money, Sophia. Take it. He turned to leave. Wait. Her voice stopped him. What happens now? To you, I keep building. He looked back at her. But maybe this time, I'll actually live in the spaces I create instead of just designing them for other people. Then he walked away. And Sophia stood there, holding a crumpled divorce decree in one hand and a business card in the other. feeling like her entire world had just been rebuilt from scratch and she didn't recognize the blueprint anymore. Spring came early to New York that year. Sophia stood in front of the brownstone and wondered why she'd come. The building looked different already. New owners had repainted the door, added flower boxes, made it look like the home it should have been all along. She'd received the money transfer 6 weeks ago, enough to never worry again. She cried for 3 hours straight. Victor had proposed a week after the gala. She'd said no. He'd been understanding, then confused, then angry, then gone. She dated a man for 6 months, left her husband for him, and realized at the finish line that she didn't actually know him at all. Just like Elias didn't know me, she thought. We were all just pretending. The gallery had offered her a promotion. She'd taken it, thrown herself into work, tried to rebuild a life that made sense. But late at night, she'd pull out that business card, Mara Chun, and wonder. She hadn't called, didn't know what she'd say. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I still love you. I hate you. All of it was true. None of it was simple. Her phone buzzed. Her mother, checking in like she did every day now. M.O.M. You okay, sweetheart? Sophia. Yeah, just out walking. M.O.M. It gets easier. I promise. Did it? Sophia wasn't sure. She walked up the brownstone steps one last time. The new owners wouldn't mind. She just needed something. Closure, maybe? The door was unlocked. Weird. She pushed it open. Hello? Silence. The interior had been cleared out. Her furniture. Elias's weird minimal office setup. Everything gone except a letter sitting on the mantel in the empty living room. Her hands shook as she picked it up. Sophia written on the envelope in Elias's handwriting. She sat on the floor and opened it. Sophia, if you're reading this, it means you came back to Brownstone. Mara said you might. Said you need to see it one last time. I'm not good with words. Never was. That's probably part of why we failed. I kept everything inside until there was nothing left to share. But I want you to know I should have trusted you with the truth sooner. Not on our 5th anniversary. Not at Christmas. Not someday. On day 1, when you kissed me against that graffiti wall and asked what I did for work, I should have said, I run the company my parents built, and I'm terrified you'll love that more than you love me. I should have given you the chance to prove me wrong. Instead, I gave you years of silence, of half-truths, of a marriage where you carried everything, because I was too afraid to show you I could carry anything at all. The empire was never the quiet part. I was. You call me a coward at the coffee shop. You were right, but not in the way you thought. I wasn't a coward for hiding the money. I was a coward for hiding myself. The real me was terrified you'd see through the artist persona to the broken kid underneath who inherited billions and didn't know how to trust anyone with that truth. So I gave you a mask instead of man. And you deserved a man. I'm sorry for that. Sorrier than this letter can hold. The brownstone is sold. The new family has 3 kids. I think you'd like them. They're going to fill this place with noise and life, and all the things we should have built here. I kept one thing, though, the photo booth strip from our first date. It's in my wallet. Always will be. Not because I'm pining. Not because I think we'll fix this. But because for 4 perfect seconds in that booth, I was just a guy making you laugh. And you were just a girl who chose me. That was real. Maybe the only real thing I've ever had. I hope Victor treats you better than I did. And if not Victor, then someone. You deserve to be chosen every day, not just in the beginning. Thank you for 7 years. Even the hard ones, especially the hard ones. They taught me that privacy without connection is just loneliness in a nice suit. I'm working on that. Take care of yourself, Sophia. E. She read it 3 times. Then she sat on the empty floor of the empty brownstone and cried like she hadn't cried since the gala. Not because the letter changed anything, but because it finally said everything. Meanwhile, across town, Elias Harper stood alone on the Hudson River walkway, watching the sun rise over Manhattan. He'd started taking these walks 3 months ago. Dawn, every day, before the city woke up and demanded CEO things from him. Out here, he was just a man with coffee and questions. His phone buzzed. Mara. She went to the brownstone. The letter's gone. Elias. Good. Mara, that's it? Just good? Elias. What else is there? Mara, you could fight for her. Grand gesture. Win her back. This is America. We love that stuff. Elias. She knows where I am. If she wants to talk, she'll call. Mara, and if she doesn't, Elias. Then I move on. Really move on. Not hide. Actually heal. Mara, look at you. Growing. Elias. Don't get used to it. He silenced his phone and watched the water. The empire was still there. $46 billion. Give or take. Buildings with his name on them. Deals to close. Boards to manage. But he'd started saying yes to things. Small things. Lunch with the team. Company retreats. Showing his face. Being present. It was terrifying and exhausting. And maybe, possibly, slowly, healing. He pulled out his wallet. The photo booth strip was there, creased and fading. Sophia's face, frozen in laughter. His face, younger and unburdened. I'm sorry, he whispered to the photo. To her. To himself. For all of it. The sun climbed higher. And Elias Harper, billionaire, ghost, coward man, turned toward home, lighter than he'd been in years. The end